And here with me now is Greg Laurie, pastor of Harvest Christian Fellowship in Washington for the unveiling of the Billy Graham sculpture at the U.S. Capitol. Welcome to you, Pastor Greg.
Thank you,
it's
John.
always good to see you.
Great to be with you.
So the story we just aired talked about the co-opting of the term evangelical. Are you concerned that the term evangelical carries now political baggage?
Perhaps, but it's interesting, you know, Billy Graham is really the one who coined that phrase. But I do think this, that I think that evangelical believers still is a term that represents us to some degree. And I think we need to really understand what it means to be evangelistic and to share the gospel. That's the most important thing we can do, is share the gospel. That's the only thing that's going to change the culture of America. I believe every Christian should register and vote. I think it's more than a privilege. I think it's a responsibility for the believer to be aware of issues. And I think so many important things are before us with the election ahead in November. But having said that, the secret weapons of the church that are not employed enough are prayer and evangelism, praying for our nation and proclaiming the gospel. That's what people need to hear.
I want to ask you, speaking of these different issues, with so much anti-Israel sentiment today, why is it important for Christians to stand with Israel?
Because the Jewish people are God's chosen people, always have been, always will be. Also, there's a promise given in the book of Genesis where God says to Abraham and his descendants, the Jewish people, I'll bless those that bless you. I'll curse those that curse you. I think one of the reasons, John, God has blessed America is because we have stood as a faithful ally by the nation Israel, and we should continue to do so. It's in our best interest, not to mention the fact that they're the only real democracy there in the Middle East. But listen, God gave to them the land. You know, there's sort of a narrative out there right now. People are saying that they're colonizers. Actually, the Jewish people are indigenous to the land. This is their land that God gave them, and they're not even occupying most of it. And you know, back in the days prior to the Holocaust in Germany in the 30s, that anti-Semitism started on their college campuses. And I think a lot of these young people just don't know what they're talking about. Israel's not trying to conquer anybody. They want to live at peace. The fact is, though they've been attacked on multiple occasions since they became a nation in 1948, they've given land back, even though they could have kept it. Right. They just want to live at peace and raise their families. And on October 7th, when they were attacked, and over 1,000 Israelis were butchered and slaughtered and murdered, and unspeakable things were done, and then they predictably retaliated, just like America retaliated after we were attacked at Pearl Harbor and 9/11. When they did that, Hamas, a terrorist organization, part of their strategy is to use human beings as shields. And so, of course, with the retaliation and the response, then we see innocent people tragically being killed in war. And people think, oh, Israel's just trying to control and take over. It's really not what's happening. I had an opportunity to speak at a place called the Museum of Tolerance one day after the attack on October 7th. It was pretty much a Jewish audience. And I said, look, we are here for you. We are standing with you as evangelicals, to use that phrase. And then I said to them, and look, I'm going to be straightforward with you. I am a Gentile, but the reason I love you and I love the Jewish people is because my Messiah, Jesus Christ, changed my life. And so I don't make any bones about the fact or hide the fact that I would love to see our Jewish friends come to believe Jesus as Messiah. But having said that, I want them also to know that we stand with you, we pray for you, and we care about you. And we will stand against this anti-Semitism. And I think more pastors need to be doing this.
We know that this weekend is Pentecost Sunday. There's a movement with churches across California planning to baptize thousands. This is on top of a wave of recent baptisms we've seen from California to the nation's midsection to Florida. All of this, though, is in sharp contrast to what we're seeing in the headlines. Is this a reminder of the power of what we're called to fix our eyes on?
Yes, I think so. And I think it's a very good indication. And when I see, like, we were able to baptize 4,500 people about 6 months ago at this place called Pirates Cove, where scenes from the Jesus Revolution film were shot and where we used to do the baptisms 50 years ago. And that was the largest baptism in American history. So these are signs of the times, good signs. We always think about the negative signs. These are good signs, and prayerfully and hopefully signs of a revival. We pray that it will be a drop here, a drop there, and then it will begin to drizzle, and then it will begin to rain. God will pour his Spirit out. The only hope to turn our nation around is we need a spiritual awakening. We need another Jesus movement.
I could spend all day with you if you had the time. Pastor Greg Laurie with Harvest Christian Fellowship, thank you so much for being
Thanks,
with us
John.
today.